to work. Today I want to do a video about a topic that I've mentioned a fair few times over the period of our shooting and talking about rifles, but I haven't had the equipment to talk about it, well listen, I got to a stage where I felt I should go through and explain it. Not for most people fully understand, some people are going to disagree, and some people are new to the sport, and just to help them out and some information just to help them out. What I'm talking about is this monopod. So not this monopod, all monopods. This is one from the guys that do the Atlas bipods. Quite a nice monopod they've done down here, and I'll go through some of the details. First of all, I suppose that what I'd go through is I don't like using them for what I do, for the sort of shooting I do. And they are a component that definitely fit into a genre or into a place where they do a really good job for the type of shooting that they are designed for. In some places they're used in places that they're not really designed. And listen, I'll be the first to say there's no doubt people out there that the system works well for, but there's some fundamental things that I don't like them for. They don't suit my sort of shooting, and I'll get into that now and explain a little bit. To start off with, this monopod, well, I suppose I'll do it that round. This monopod, in the way of its benefits, how it works, how it's all set up, is quite a nice monopod. It is made so it's fully adjustable in a couple of different forms. You've got a little lock collar on the top there. You can adjust your height quickly with a quick release and then move your lock collar up and down. You've got another button you can press to actually fold it forward and effectively use it like a little bag rider or get it out of the road. And it's also got, this is something that's designed quite well, it's got a slippery piece of, don't know whether that's polyurethane or nylon or what it is, but it's something slippery on the bottom of it to help it in its action and how it works. And I'll go through that now in a little bit of detail. We're not press the right button, fold it back down to deploy it, lock that in, set that up so it's locked, and that's our monopod. The way this is designed to work is in this sort of setup where you are set up where you are at a bipod sort of shooting and you want to stabilise your rear rest, and then you have your monopod down the back here, and in the basics of it, that makes it nice and simple to hold dead still on target. It's nice and rigid, you can get it on target, adjust it to where you smack on target, get it just right, pull the trigger and you're done. In theory, yes, that's what you're doing. As I've mentioned before, and as people who've done more when it comes into especially precision shooting, there is a whole heap of stuff that happens just after it goes bang. And what I'm basically talking about there is when the rifle shoots backwards, this monopod has to slide across whatever ground it's sitting on. There's all sorts of other things going on, from your barrel vibrations to your bipod action to how you're dealing with recoil to muzzle lift to all sorts of things going across the rifle. But the one I want to discuss at the moment is down the back here, your monopod. So, I should say where I feel this is a very good system, works really nicely, is for basically your tactical style shooting, so shooting off a bench and shooting out to the 300, 400, 500, 600 yard sort of stuff. This is going to have, and shooting steel in that sort of situation, in some tactical situations, shooting off a bench situation. So you have a hard surface that you're shooting across, that you have something to sit on, but also this monopod has to be able to move, slide backwards and forwards. So you need to have that. If you're shooting in dirt situations, or you're shooting on a bag or anything that's going to cause any grip, then you've just brought yourself in a monstrous issue with this has to bounce across it. You'll also find, and this is where I'll get a little bit more into the finer details of which comes into precision shooting. Even on some benches, all the things seem to be right. Your precision shooting, there's a couple of different things going on in comparison to shooting on a bag. Now, if you're just shooting on a shoulder, in a bench situation, just using your shoulder, and you've been free resting the rifle otherwise, or not resting on anything, then yes, a monopod's going to help. It's going to improve things because you actually have something to stabilize things rather than just using this flexible bit of our body that moves around. You have something to actually give you a bit of stability. What it doesn't provide is any direction in left or right. So whereas a bag and your V groove with a bag rider will go straight back, this can also go any direction. So it requires your form to be very good, should be very good anyway, but left or right variation is certainly not being controlled by the monopod. And if there's any variation in the surface that's going across, both from, and as I said, this one's got a little nylon polyurethane, what it is, rubbing block on the bottom of it, which tends to make it slip. You'll find a lot of them that either there's some running steel or just metal to the bottom. Most are running rubber pads and things like light on the front of your bipod, where you've got rubber feet on there. That causes quite a big issue. It's trying to grip. The bipod isn't really made to skid, it's made to stick. You start getting that moving or setting things up on spikes and things like that to make it grip and fight recoil. You're actually not doing what the rifle's supposed to do. You actually can cause vibrations that get transferred into things, and you have to keep in mind that, you know, in the tenths of millimeters, in thou, 1 or 2 thou is talking coming into, across that spread there, you're talking points of MOA. You're moving into, I haven't done the maths on it properly, but you're probably looking at, once you get a millimetre of movement here, you're talking about an inch of movement at your 100 yard range. So it doesn't take much, as you can imagine. The other thing to keep in mind is this is all happening in milliseconds. What matters is once you pull that trigger, there is several milliseconds of the bullet going out through to the end of the barrel. If you get movement through your end of your barrel, created by some vibration down the back of this here, you essentially start to lose your grip. What I will say, like I said, in tactical shooting, in situations shooting on a bench, shooting steel, and you're going to be happy with a 1 MOA, 1.5 MOA group at 600 yards to hit your steel, it's probably, as long as all the other conditions, going to do a good job. Once you start looking for more accuracy in that, you're looking in your bottom, in your fractions of MOA for accuracy, then this is one of the places you can be finding it. Now I want to stress, there are situations where a monopod, there's guys who've shot, no doubt, there's guys who've shot 1/8 MOA groups sitting on their monopod, everything's working perfectly. And I don't want to take that away, that is possible. What I will say is that in the right circumstances with the right shooter, yes, it's possible. The consistency, and as I generally tend to design my setup, is to set it up to make it work in the worst conditions as well as the best conditions. Then this is a place that you can have some issues. But really use it for what it's designed for. You know, that mid-range sort of stuff is where this system is designed for. That's the sort of stuff that it's really designed for. It's not designed for extreme range or even long range extreme precision. Anyway, I suppose I'd finish it off by saying the likes of a monopod is a very, very good system used in the proper situations, used where it suits. There are people that I see and have heard of that are trying to shoot and get extreme precision, and I suppose I should be smart and keep back to my range, keep back to my discipline, and that's in ELR style shooting. When I'm after extreme precision, especially trying to shoot in prone, back with on shooting on ground mats and things like that, is that the likes of a monopod has some fairly big issues to deal with. Not really designed for it. It's being used out of its range, much more tactical, much more bench shooter friendly, but I would tend to be recommending to not go with them. The reason I took so long to do this is I didn't have one of these. I've actually purchased one. Listen, I'll try and play with it when I get a chance. I really don't do any bench shooting. I shoot off my systems, and like I said, I don't have anything to run this on. But quite smart design what it is, and I think do a really good job used in the correct place. Anyway, that's my take on monopods, what I'm talking about with monopods. Use them in the right place and they'll be a good system. My sort of stuff, what I want to do in extreme precision, they don't suit what we do, and I wouldn't recommend them for a shooter given all those circumstances. Anyway guys, thanks for checking us out. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching the video guys, I hope you enjoyed. Down below here we've got a link to our web store where we have some of the specialised long-range shooting products that we actually produce. Check them out.
And for those of you who can, it'd be great to get some help. In our store we have support bits, and when you purchase those, the money goes direct to our channel and helps us bring these videos to you.
Thanks guys.
See you next time.